Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. When unnatural things occur and you observe them, you start thinking someone intervened because the natural course, let's say, of a river is going down due to gravitation and so on. So it should go down. But when a river flies the other way, someone must have intervened. Something is not normal. Something is not right. For an example, you have, I think it's the Chicago River. Chicago River, I think it flows the other way. So it used to flow like this, and the Americans made it to flow like this for, how do you call it, transportation reasons. I don't know how many, maybe almost 100 years ago. He changed the course. From flowing like this, it flows like this. But hey, someone altered the natural course of that particular river. If I remember correctly, go and check it out. So what do we have here? You have a Zelensky Stein in charge of a nation called Ukraine. And he makes some demands from a position of not being allowed to make those demands. So something is not normal. That is, I have the bread and the knife, and you are hungry. You can't make any demands, and I'm stronger than you, let's put it this way. You can't make any demands unless there is something that changes the natural relationship between you and I. You are weak, I'm strong. I'm gonna cut, I'm gonna slice you a piece of bread how big I want, whenever I want, if I want. You can't make me. So that's the natural course. But somehow the hungry, weak guy, starving, is able to demand from me, and I take that into consideration. Oh my God, okay, so how much you want? You want half of the loaf? All for you? You demand that? Something is wrong. That tells you maybe someone working for this guy or behind the weak, starving individual is with a scope somewhere, a sniper somewhere. And that's why I'm willing to cut you the biggest slice or give you the whole loaf, because someone makes me. Who are those someones or someone? I wonder why. Because Zelensky keeps demanding from the United States of America, mind you. How is that possible? Well, let's figure it out from these articles that I have them ready for you. Zelensky demands and Trump demands. Here, Ukrinform. Kiev responds to US peace plan for Ukraine with demand for NATO-equivalent guarantees. So, just so let's put things as they are. NATO is an organization, military organization, alliance, formed by the leader of its organization, which is the United States of America. United States of America, after the Second World War, said, I'm going to grab these guys, I'm going to incorporate into my little army, and I'm going to have them fight with me. Whomever I'm going to determine works for my interest. That's how NATO was formed. That's why NATO is. And at that point was Soviet Union and so on. But the main goal was like, we're going to get stronger. I'm going to get these guys here and we're going to fight the rest. And we're going to take over. That's the whole purpose of NATO. So then you have without United States of America's help, which is direct intervention in Ukraine with intelligence, military, organizing, planning, weapons, all this. If United States of America tomorrow says, I'm not going to give you any bread, Ukraine tomorrow is starving. That is, the Russians will reach Lviv, will reach the Polish border. I'm just exaggerating, but that's most likely what's going to happen. And this guy, so it's like, I can't survive without you, but I demand. Something is wrong. Who makes the Americans listen to this starving individual's demands? Who are those guys? Well, I kind of know who those guys are. Right. During talks in London, the Ukrainian side presented its own vision of security guarantees in response to the US proposals, particularly a framework equivalent to Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty. So the starving one tells the Americans, I want to be in your organization without your, I demand, without your, veto power. Who the hell are you? And I'm going to quote Zelensky, and I have another article where Zelensky demands something even more crazy than that. And it involves Israel. I mean, he's Jewish, isn't he? And I'm quoting, there were American proposals or a vision. In London, the working group consisting of representatives of Ukraine, Europe, not Europe. It was not Ukraine, Europe. It was Ukraine, France, Germany, and Great Britain. This is not Europe. This is 3 countries, plus Ukraine. And the US presented our representatives on perspective on the proposals made public by the United States. Our response include entirely constructive proposals, both in terms of contingent and a format akin to the 5th article of NATO. The 5th article of NATO is this. Any country in NATO, member state, is attacked by someone from outside, the whole NATO will help that country defend itself against the attack. Ukraine wants this, but it's not part of NATO, but it demands, you know what I mean? All right, not the article itself. No, you're going to name it differently. But the forces and level of protection provided by Article 5 in NATO countries, relevant proposals have been submitted. We are awaiting a response. Chop, quickly. The starving guy is waiting for you to quickly cut him half of the loaf. Now, when it was a discussion if Finland and Sweden joining NATO, I said, regardless if, let's say, the Hungarians and the Turks will say, no, we don't want that to happen. They will get it. You know why? They will create exactly what this baboon, and I said this, they will create a different term. Not like you're going to be member states of NATO, Finland and Sweden. You won't be. You want to be members kuputsupu. And as members kuputsupu, we have a provision that will be equal to Article 5, but you're not going to be in NATO. It's going to be kuputsupu. You got it? They give a different term for the same notion, for the same action. Article 5 activated. They will say, under the Tsukupuku country treaty, if someone attacks a Tsukupuku country, therefore, we're going to come and help it. That's it. You don't have to be part of NATO. And this is this Bazaar guy says exactly the same thing. We want it's not Article 5, but it's exactly the same thing. Remember, if I tell you I love you, or I kapalaka, or rakazakapaka, or amakamaka, all those words mean nothing if I don't show you through my actions. My actions will be defined by your, the term will define my actions, let's put it this way. The term will fit my actions. I can tell you all kind of things. And you say, okay, tsupakapa falls under what kind of definition? What would be the term? The same here. Article 5, Article 19, kopalopa, mafakapa, that don't matter. Are you going to intervene? Let's cite the Tsakapaka article or treaty. And now let me tell you even more chutzpah coming from Zelensky's Stein, right here. Russia Today, 26th of April. Zelensky demands at least Israel-style support from US. Now, I know you're Jewish, I know Israel is, but really? Yes. So who are those guys who are sniping you? Who are those guys over there? I want to know. How can this guy demand at least? At least, that means incorporated as the 52nd after Canada state of the United States of America. That's what it is. What is bigger support from US than Israel? What is it? In which war the United States will get to fight those guys' wars? Those guys say jump, and the United States will say how high. So this guy wants at least, that is the minimum. And he demands. This is abnormal situation, my friends. Kiev expects. Now, it's true, these are Russia Today's words that they pick to probably create the reaction they create out of me right now. Kiev expects sustained American aid despite growing tensions over Trump's peace plan. Right there, he wants. And he says the same thing here. The discussions in London have focused on security guarantees from the United States. We hope them to be at least as robust as those provided to Israel. Additionally, we anticipate support from our European partners and are actively developing the infrastructure necessary for these guarantees, Zelensky said. So, you see here, at least, we hope to be at least as robust. So, again, unnatural relationship. It's like you go to buy some oranges, and the person over there says, okay, I sell a pound of oranges with $2. And you say, I want them for free, motherfucker. Well, you want the oranges. I want to sell them, but there are so many other people that come here and buy them. So, bye-bye. Or we can negotiate. But you don't tell me you want them for free. You are the starving one, not me. You want my oranges. Bye. See you never. Hey, please. Yeah, okay. We'll sell it for $2 a pound. Unbelievable. Next one. Let me show you what Zelensky wants. Again, demands from the United States of America. It's unbelievable again. Ukraine form. Ukraine to seek US approval to purchase Patriot systems. Now, first question is, okay, you maybe want Patriot systems. Okay, are you part of NATO? Then you won't ever have Patriot systems. Secondly, with whose money? Ukraine will seek approval from the United States for the purchase of Patriot air defense systems. You will not have Patriot systems unless you're in NATO. Why? Because tomorrow, if we are not sure, as the Americans, that we own you, tomorrow you can say, I changed my mind, I'm going to go to Russia. And before you end the word Russia, we're going to you, and we're going to overthrow you, and we're going to keep you where you are. That's why these guys send the Patriots to NATO countries, not to other NATO countries. They want to make sure they're under occupation. They're not going to sell it to Ukraine. So the Ukraine tomorrow decides under new terms, we're going to be Russia's friends. Here are the Americans, Patriot Russians. Go and study them at your leisure. That's why there's not going to be. Now, that's the first point. The second one, with whose money? Well, with our money. So we going to give him, from our taxes supposedly, we build the Patriots. We give them money so we build the Patriots. Okay, we pay. How should I make it? I'm so irritated with this. This is the military industrial complex. Let's say this is the whomever makes the Patriot, Raytheon, whomever. Okay, they're right here. And these guys, we, the state, the government, right, we pay these guys to build them. They build them, right? Or at least to make contracts. We give Ukraine aid, money. We give money from banking systems, from wherever we give. We don't have money. We print them. The guy is going to buy these things from here that was produced with us, right? Paying with our money that the government send them. So these guys are going to have big contracts with Ukraine, with us. That means we are, United States of America, will purchase the product that is going to get to Ukraine supposedly with our money. Jesus Christ. Let's move on. And because Trump is becoming agitated, Russia just liberated the entire Kursk region that was invaded by the NATO. By the Ukrainians. Trump is scared that he's going to lose what's left out of the Ukraine's minerals. That's loot. That's looting other people's resources. Russia Today, 26th of April. Trump demands, all these guys demand, Kiev sign minerals deal immediately. A formal agreement should have been sealed 3 weeks ago, the president has said. And this is what he said. Ukraine Vladimir Zelensky is 3 weeks late in signing a minerals deal with the US, President Trump said in a post on Truth Social on Friday. He demanded the agreement be signed immediately. Where's the rule of law? You demand, I demand, we all demand. Who are the guys who are supposed to give in or to give in to the demands? Who are those guys? In this case, Zelensky demands from the United States of America, the Americans demand from the Ukrainians. What is going on here? It's not a business-oriented situation here, or a business, because I am in charge. United States of America is in charge of Ukraine. But they demand. Who allows them to demand? They will sign the deal, I guarantee you that, with Zelensky or without Zelensky. They will sign it. All right, next one. These guys think that we're going to talk about Witkoff's meeting with Putin as well. These guys think that the relationship between Russia and the United States of America is contingent to the resolution of Ukraine war. It's not. It's not. But they try to make it. Zelensky thinks that you guys can only be allowed to be friends, US and Russia, if we say with my snipers over there on Trump. And here it is. Russia Today. No thanks, Kiev. Russia and the US can reconcile without Ukraine. Steve Witkoff's Moscow visit seemed to show that the detente the two nations is possible even if Zelensky is not part of the equation. It should be. It should be. And this is a opinion piece. That's why I'm not going to read, but I like the idea. And that's true. These guys can reconcile. They can. This is Jewish. What is he doing over there? Representing the American foreign policy in Russia and Ukraine, where actually you have what's the other guys, Gids, Geds, Gods, Goods, whatever general of that the Russians did not want. How come they wanted this guy? And Zelensky is Jewish. Well, just a coincidence. And Blinken, the former foreign minister of America, United States of America, was Jewish. It's just a coincidence, man. Don't fucking go and look at it. All right, let's see the key points of the meeting between Vladimir Putin and this Witkoff. Witkoff is Trump's special envoy to the Middle East. He deals with Russia and Ukraine. Please consult this and see if either Russia or Ukraine are in the Middle East. What's going on here? Remember the sniper? I don't want to connect any nostrils, dots, okay? Let's move on. Here, Trump envoy talks with Putin. Key takeaways. Steve Witkoff, the third meeting, has met the Russian president in latest round of diplomacy. Okay, and what's your national anthem? I don't know Israel's, so anyway, let's move on. Russian president, let's see. The meeting took place behind closed doors, just like the previous visits by the US envoy, this time at the Kremlin. Putin foreign policy aide, and presidential investment envoy, also took part in the meeting. So there were this Yuri and there was Kirill. Kirill was educated in the United States of America, his college, and a master or something, so dubious. Here are the key takeaways from the talks. Constructive and very useful meaning. The conversation allowed to further align Russia and US positions not only on Ukraine but also on a number of other international issues, he said. Possibility of direct Russian-Ukraine talks. Discussions touched on possibly resuming direct bilateral negotiations between Moscow and Kiev, Ushakov said. All right, well, I hope they do. More talks coming. With agreements already reached in the course of the US-Russia negotiations, more quote-unquote productive dialogue will be forthcoming in the most active form. Is that intercourse? That's the most active form, but hey, isn't it? I mean, think about it. Moscow has consistently said that diplomacy, historic date. The date of the latest talks, April 25, carries a special meaning falling on the 80th anniversary of the historic meeting of the Allied Soviet and American troops at the Elbe River in Nazi Germany during World War II. This meeting is well known to symbolize the military alliance of two countries in the fight against Nazism. Well, I will skip that one. Shuttle diplomacy. Direct talks allow both sides to explain the nuances, that's diplomacy, adult conversation, of each other's position, Peskov said. Of course, after all, he is a special envoy. When asked, he confirmed that Witkoff arrived with a message from Trump and left with a return message from Putin. This shuttle diplomacy, that means you send emissaries like in the old days, is better than a phone call. You know why? Because on the phone call there's many guys attached and with a glass on the wall. That's what it is. But the emissary is going to give to Putin and to Israel, and it's going to go back to give to Trump and Israel. and Zelensky Stein as well. Zelensky knows what's going on. All right. The multi-hour long talks, I think was three hours. It's always easier to explain all the nuances in a personal conversation. I agree with that. 100%. That's why I don't really like to text or message, because you can't figure out certain nuances, and it takes longer than a conversation face-to-face, because in face-to-face you see the other person's facial expression, body language, and you learn a lot. All right? Over the phone, scratching his balls and said, I am yours. Okay, we don't know what's going on over there. Next one. Talking progressing. Work on overall peace deal between Russia and Ukraine is going smoothly. Success seems to be in the future, the US president wrote in the post on social. Bye-bye. Excellent, excellent. That could be done without the Ukrainians. Ukrainians, as the Europeans, are irrelevant for their good relationship between US and Russia. It's true that at the center of this Ukraine garbage is the United States of America, with its NATO organization, expansion, and then overthrowing of a legitimate government of Ukraine, Viktor Yanukovych, in 2014. It is true. But hey, if they decided that they're going to try differently to take care of Russia, then they decided. And the Russians, I hope they still keep their guard up. I demand. Who the hell are you? Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.